Welcome to Subramani. I'm trying to do a series of possible mistakes which we make while investing. One of them which worries me a lot is oversimplifying the data which we have, or assuming that our brain can understand complex issues. Take for example, if you're analyzing the balance sheet of Tata Motors, to understand Tata Motors today is far more difficult than it was to understand Tata Motors 20 years ago before they took over JLR, right? It was very simple. You could just multiply the HCV margin and the smaller vehicles, and we could just ignore the cars. Cars never really mattered when they had only Indica. Right, so that time it was very easy to predict what would be the EPS, and then you could know that Ashok Leyland would never build big capacity, so it would be Tata Motors, which even if Ashok Leyland created a new model, they would have a very small capacity. They would have capacity for doing 8,000 or 10,000 vehicles a year, and then immediately Tata Motors would come and say, okay, we can do 20,000 a month or something like that, and completely kill. So that was the business. It was easier to understand. Then it became a little more complex with Eicher and all coming, but then still Tata Motors dominated. Then Tata Motors went and took over a company in Europe, that is JLR. So there it meant that now you have to understand what is happening in China, what is happening in Russia, what is happening in US, whether Europe, right, whether they are able to penetrate the markets, what will be the euro to rupee rate, what will be the euro to dollar rate, are they buying in euro, selling in dollar. Right now life has got far more complicated. So even assuming I understood Tata Motors a few years ago, today it is far more complicated. Similarly, Citibank, it's almost impossible to understand the balance sheet. Now take another case like say Zomato. Even assuming for a minute you understand what is Zomato's models of they having so much data, knowing where, in which pin code, how much biryani is going to be consumed, and therefore being able to ask somebody to set up a cloud kitchen, assuming all that they know, even then you need to know how well Swiggy is funded, because Swiggy could be willing to lose more money than what Zomato wants to lose, right? Zomato may not be adequately funded now. It's a listed company, so there will be pressure to show some profits, right? So putting all this together, or even knowing that, oh, now the EV is going to be a great success, you don't know who will make money in EV. Will it be the manufacturer? Will it be the charging station? Will it be the power company? Will it be the battery supplier? We don't know who is going to really make money, right? There's a whole value chain there. Like for example, airlines don't make money, but airports do make money. Some shops in the airports make money. Somebody with the somebody who is servicing the plane makes money, right? In that whole value chain of the aircraft business or the airline business, you don't know who is going to make money. So understanding that is important. You can't say, oh, whenever I see Indigo seats are full, so Indigo planes are full, all seats are taken, so therefore Indigo will make money. Good way, but still long way to go being able to analyze. So is it will make my trip me more valuable than Indigo? I really don't know. So I'm just saying life has got far more complex. Don't simplify, because human nature is to simplify, because the brain does not like to work hard. So brain likes to simplify things. So don't try to oversimplify and because of that lose money, right? Within our own existence, we try to find a pattern, saying companies from this region will not be good, or rather all MNCs have good ESG. This is again framing. We are saying, oh, but all MNCs today have a second company where they're bringing in their more profitable products, and you never know, because when you find that one MNC is very profitable, they may just take it private. Right, so Kodak went private, Cadbury went private, Hoganaz went private. You need to understand that not every company wants to be listed in India. Right, Hyundai is not listed in India, Coke is not listed in India, Pepsi is not listed in India, McDonald's is not listed in India, Domino's is not listed in India, right? These are the products which you are consuming, which are not listed in India. So what will you do, right? So once upon a time you could say, oh, I'm consuming this, so let me do research, let me buy. Colgate toothpaste is being, I'm using Colgate toothpaste, so let me analyze and buy Colgate toothpaste. Great. But today if Colgate has a subsidiary where all the new products are being introduced and this old old company will suffer in the future, then it's perhaps a bad investment for a 20-year time frame, right? So you don't know, you have to put all that together, and therefore our idea to just simplify, oh, it's a good company so I should buy, is too simple a theory. It does not always work, right? And framing this behavioral bias that which predisposes us towards certain behavior. Oh, I think Colgate is a good company, I should buy it on dips, I'll get a good dividend yield. Maybe you will get a good dividend yield, but maybe Amazon would show more growth, and buying Amazon may make more sense to buy than buying Colgate or P&G, right? Because the distribution strength of the MNCs, which was once its big strength, is today gone, with somebody else doing much better distribution and concentrating just on distribution, right? So Colgate asks somebody to set up a factory, sets up the factory, it sets up its own QC to see whether the quality is good, then it is wrapped and it is sold, right? So Colgate is just doing lending its brand name. What happens if somebody can do all that and create their own brand, like say Patanjali, right? Those things can happen, and narrow framing will always happen when you say, what about theories which don't hold for a long period of time? What about the 1990s when you had to do nothing, just buy and hold, and today everybody will give you saying, if you had bought Larsen and Toubro in 1977, this is what would have happened, or some stuff like that. Well, buy and hold is there, but then you also have to understand the bias. You will always be biased towards the successful companies in your portfolio. I don't remember so many shares which I bought and sold and the companies no longer exist. I remember selling Orchid 190 or 200 or something like that. Today it is not visible. I've sold Pateja Forging at about 190 or 200, and today it is again not visible. So many companies have come and gone in the past. Some you have made money, some you have lost money, some shares could still be lying, you may not be able to demat it, right? All those possibilities do exist. So check for all that, see how biased you get, and see how much you are oversimplifying things, and keep reviewing your portfolio. Keep a notebook in which you write down the mistakes that you're making, see whether you're oversimplifying, right? So of course you can read Charlie Munger's book and have a very detailed analysis of the company. I mean, what I would call taking a word from the HR is a 360-degree appraisal. If you can ask its vendors, if you can ask its suppliers, vendors, suppliers, dealers, users, everybody, and find out about the company, that might be great. But you still have to analyze the environment. I'm not talking about the macro, I'm talking about the micro, in the sense the person with whom it is competing. How much of funds do they have? Will they be able to exhaust the company in which you are trying to buy a share, right? So all those questions have to be answered. We don't understand, or our mind does not accept that we are oversimplifying. So if we buy something and we make money, we think, oh, see how I made money. That's fine, but are we oversimplifying? Are we saying things which could hurt us in the future because we did not understand what was happening somewhere else? For example, right now when I see my portfolio, I have not made any money in Europe, I have not made money in Asia, I have made money only in India and in the US. Does it mean I should remove money from all other funds and put it here? Perhaps no. Does it mean I should remove all the money from here and put it there? Again, I do not know. So we will always work on it partially, but don't just oversimplify saying, oh, Europe is not doing well, so Europe is finished. Asia is not doing well, Asia is finished. No, nothing. It can't be further from the truth. So don't oversimplify. You must simplify, but don't oversimplify. Until you can't get some of these pieces right, it is good to have some money lying in an index fund, international index fund or a domestic index fund, whatever, and making sure that you touch that money only when you are completely willing to pack back one idea. That time you partially sell your index and buy this particular share which you are confident about. And since you need to do such a detailed analysis, I don't think we will be able to buy more than 2 companies in a year for keeping in our portfolio. Something else you may buy and sell on momentum. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about investing. And in investing, make sure that your mind does not go about making things very oversimplified, because it's not always you know how that company is going to make money. Along with this, the previous one is about understanding your limitations, seeing the mistakes that you make. So don't oversimplify, because your mind says, this looks good. It's easy to frame it saying, the father made money, the son made money, now the grandson will make money for me. That's great to believe, but you have to keep checking whether it will really happen. Thank you.